Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Jason Portuondo on behalf of the Toronto Rush, TELUS, and Cosmos Sports. I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you for being here on this morning, which is very beautiful. And by the way, yes, the players will be made available afterwards. They'll also have some photo opportunities if you'd like to see them actually doing their thing. Obviously exciting times right now as we get to officially launch Toronto's newest pro sports team, yes, the Toronto Rush. In case you're wondering, the squad will begin play in the American Ultimate Disc League this season in 2013. In fact, they're going to begin play in a matter of days from now. With roughly 10,000 people around the GTA playing Ultimate, Toronto has indeed become a hotbed for the sport, and today's news will hopefully just extend the trend. Now, coming up this morning, we're going to talk more about the Rush inaugural season, its key partners in the community, and the objective of growing the game of Ultimate right here in our country of Canada. At the end of the press conference, we will open up the floor, and at that time, should you have any questions for these four right here on the panel, they'll be more than gladly to answer your questions, so stick around for that. And then if you prefer some one-on-one time, they will have that as well. Now, before we hear from our first speaker, we're going to ask that you please turn your attention to the monitors as Rob Lloyd, who is the chairman of the Toronto Rush and the member of the American Ultimate Disc League Executive Council, he has sent a few words from Saratoga, California.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Rob Lloyd, and I'm so sorry that I'm not able to join you in person this morning for the official launch of the Toronto Rush. It's been 1 year since my son Mark, my brother Jim, and I all decided to bring a new professional team in an exciting and inclusive sport to Toronto. And every day along the way, I'm becoming more convinced that this is a sport with a great future in a fantastic community of supporters and fans. Ultimate is a clean and ethical sport, and it's marked by incredible athleticism. Each game is packed with exciting offensive and defensive plays. The sport is widely known for its fair play and sportsmanship, and I have been amazed at how often I meet someone who's played Ultimate and shares our collective passion about the game. Our first step in building the Rush organization was to partner with Cosmos Sports and utilize their tremendous experience to help us build a solid ticket sales, sponsorship, social media, marketing, and back office operation. Our second great decision was to pursue a partnership with the University of Toronto and secure a home venue that would be perfect for our players and fans. I want to thank the University of Toronto for their support in making Varsity Stadium available to the Rush as our home stadium. It was always our fans' number one choice. And I'd also like to thank all of our founding partners and our sponsors for their fantastic support in year one. This morning, you'll hear about why Toronto is one of Ultimate's hotbeds. Our official league uniform supplier, VC Ultimate, is based here. The local Ultimate community and the Toronto Ultimate Club have all mobilized to host the World Under-23 Championships this July in Toronto. And we are all working to expand participation of this sport in schools, in universities, and in clubs right across the province. We are naturally very excited about our incredible lineup of sponsors who join us in bringing our fans a fun, affordable, and exciting game experience. You will hear more about these sponsors at today's event, and I want to thank them personally for all of their support. But most importantly, we want you to get to know our coaches and players. These young men have all played the sport at an elite level and have done so entirely for the love of the game. They are incredible athletes, and our goal is to elevate the game that they've played and won across North America and many times across the world, that they've played mostly in front of family and friends, to one which provides a great entertainment experience to a much broader audience. So we'll be streaming many of our home games, creating highlight packages, player interviews, and coaching tips, all season long so more of our fans can learn about and appreciate the Toronto Rush. So let me turn it back now to our team, who are all set to fill you in on our story. I'm sorry again that I can't be with you today in person, but I do hope to see you all at our home opener at Varsity Stadium in less than 3 weeks' time. Thanks again, and go Rush.
Thanks to Rob for that. Now, we don't have Rob Lloyd here today, but we do have Jim Lloyd, yes, the brother of Rob, and he's our first speaker. bringing over 25 years of IT sales and management experience to the Toronto Rush. Currently a public sector sales leader for a global IT services company, he is no doubt excited to apply his 15 years in community-based and pro sports administration, creating a successful ultimate franchise the City of Toronto will embrace and support for years to come. His sports experience includes 13 years of coaching and administration at both the minor and junior hockey levels in the province of Ontario. Please help me welcome the Chief Operating Officer of your Toronto Rush, Jim Lloyd.
Thank you, Jason. And as with this, in keeping with the story of my life, I always follow my older brother everywhere I go. First out of the chute. Once again, to introduce myself, my name is Jim Lloyd, and I have the honor and distinction of being the Chief Executive Officer of the company. And I wanted to fill you in with some background, a little bit about the Toronto Rush, a little bit about the league. So as mentioned, the AUDL is a North American professional ultimate disc league. There are 16 regular season games, 8 home and 8 away. We're very fortunate to be able to play all 8 of our home games here at Varsity Stadium. The divisions are set up in Midwest and East alignment with 5 teams in each division. We compete in the East Division, which includes Rochester, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia. The second and third place team at the end of the regular season will compete for a berth in the championship Final Four weekend, which will be August the 3rd and 4th at a location to be determined. Right now we have 28 signed players under contract with the Toronto Rush. And the Toronto Rush, the game is played with 7 players on the field at a time. Rush home games are all played on Saturdays and Sundays, some evenings, some afternoons. We have lined up pregame events as well as halftime shows featuring and presented in conjunction with TELUS. We'll have in-stand announcers, we'll have food and beverage service, and game day merchandise for sale. We targeted really with the Rush to deliver a very affordable game day experience. We wanted to provide something that was very cost effective, less than the cost of a movie, and we think we've accomplished that with the entertainment value that it will bring. I'll defer to Cary to speak a little bit about ticket pricing when he gets up to talk to you. The stadium itself does hold 5,000 people. We have a target, soft target. We'd love to see 1,000 or more at every game. And to date, our season ticket base is growing daily, and we're extremely pleased with the reaction that we've received so far. Also, just so you know, we have a very dynamic website, as well as a Facebook and social media presence, and we are now at 1,700 likes and league-wide at 30,000. So that is a major means of communication for us with our players, fans, and constituents of the Rush. A little bit about why we got into this. Family ownership group involves myself, my brother Rob, and his son Mark. We got involved basically because of Mark's decade-long involvement in the sport, and I had no experience with this game at all up until about 3 years ago. I had an opportunity to watch Mark play in the CIS championships held in Ottawa, and I walked in, at first 5 minutes, had no idea what was going on. Second 5 minutes, started to become interested in the flow. By the half, I was right into it. There was thousands of screaming fans. It was extremely well attended, and it was something that really perked my interest, and the rest is history. As general manager of team operations, Rob Lloyd, who has a camera in his face right now, can't wave at you, has helped attract the top level players available in the area, even across Canada, to come and play for the Toronto Rush. And we are currently ranked as one of the top teams through the media magazines as one of the top teams in our league. And we look forward to kicking the season off this weekend in Washington and Philadelphia. With us today also we have Evan and Scott, who are our coaches, if they could just wave to and acknowledge us. They both come with years of experience in Ultimate, leading one of the top club teams in Toronto, GOAT, and we look for them to be able to include their expertise to the Rush going forward. Rob mentioned the players in his setup, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the players themselves. As mentioned, we've gone and we've recruited the top players. We recognize that to play at a professional level, it requires an incredible amount of commitment in terms of conditioning and athleticism and ongoing. This is not something, this is a game you cannot play if you're not in good shape. These guys work out daily, and our commitment to them is to provide them with a professional atmosphere and a professional environment that they can play the game in. So we've set up conditioning, training sessions, practice sessions. We want to treat them like professionals. We've chartered buses to move them back and forth. We're no longer piling 4 guys in a car to drive for a weekend and play Ultimate. They're staying in nice hotels. They're not sleeping in tents. And we're going to make sure that they're taken good care of and treated like professionals. So with that in mind, I'd like to turn it over to Kerry Kaplan. And thank you. We look forward to a great season here in Toronto. And I'll say it again, as I always follow my brother, go Rush, go.
Thank you very much, Jim. Yes, Kerry Kaplan has been a leading sports executive since 1995. As founder and president of Cosmos Sports in 2003, the company with the ambition to win the business has rapidly established itself as an international industry leader in sports marketing. Kerry has personally consulted for and trained over 400 teams in various leagues, including the NHL, Canadian Football League, National Lacrosse League, and the NBA's Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets. Kerry was a proud employee of the Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club and became president of their American affiliate, the Hamilton Bulldogs. More recently, he was named president of the new Central Hockey League team coming to Brampton for the 2013-14 campaign. Please welcome Mr. Kerry Kaplan.
Great, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you, and we appreciate that so many media was able to turn out as well. It's for a couple of reasons. This is a really special opportunity for me. One of them is I've had the fortune, and I appreciate the announcement there. We've had the fortune to work with a lot of different sports organizations, and but I'm a UofT alumni, and I've never, I've stood in front of this podium at a few different universities, but it's kind of neat to be, I have my undergraduate degree in political science from UofT, and, this is, it's the premier institution in Canada, with, all due respect to all others, but this is a tremendous unparalleled heritage, and in sports. If you look back in the history of sport, UofT was involved in the early days of many leagues. Canadian Football League, played games against the NHL. However, what's interesting is there's no pro team playing at Varsity Stadium. There's none. There's no teams that have their regular scheduled games here. And, I want to thank Anita's here and Rob, and it's not an easy task. There's a lot of tradition and tends to be that it's, UofT events that are going to be here. So for the Toronto Rush to be the only team in the city, and the first in a long time, I don't think the first ever, but the first in a long time, to be able to play their home games here is tremendous. So that the university side is really exciting. The second thing I want to say is being in sports, you get kind of jaded a little bit. So when you watch a hockey game, or you see football or basketball, or you see great athletes, you don't. Maybe I don't do it as much as I should, but you don't get wowed as much maybe as you. Well, wasn't familiar with Ultimate, and the guys in the back, I give them a lot of credit. For people who haven't seen the sport, you kind of think it's just casual, or it's intramural, or you grew up when you're playing with your dad, or it is ridiculous how good these players are. It is unbelievable, and the fact that it's a sport that nobody's becoming a millionaire playing Ultimate. The fact that these guys are committed, I would just say, if anybody's in doubt, go on YouTube and look at the unbelievable talent in this sport. And we have a big opportunity. We have an opportunity. We want to change this sport for North America from a participation sport to a spectator sport. And that's it doesn't happen very often. That's the battle, and that's our opportunity. And I think we're in the perfect venue to do that, and as people mentioned, we've got a company called Cosmos Sports. I'm going to thank the Lloyds for letting us contribute, and there's a lot of people here. Mark, I'll miss some of them, but Mark, Mike, Evan, Greg, Brendan, that have contributed to, we're at about 300 season tickets, and we do expect there's going to be 1,000 people a game. And we have, the other thing I want to say is the corporate support. We have TELUS came on, you see them on the sign, or TELUS came on in a substantial way and give them a lot of credit. You know, a new sport, new league, new team. TELUS stepped up in a big way to be a founding significant partner with the team. Domino's Pizza, Subway, ANC Games, you can't miss the shirts the guys have there, so they're well branded. Are also Century 21 are some of our initial partners. So feels like a lot of things are going in a really positive direction. I think the guys that are most excited, though, it's really not about us sitting up here, it's about the guys that are at the back. And like I said, for anybody who comes at the game, it will be the least expensive ticket of any sporting event in Toronto. So you want affordability, where else can you get a ticket for less than $10? So, you know, roughly $9, it's even a little bit less for season tickets. So the concept is we want to get 1,000, 2,000 people to see a game. We want the guys in the room to be really proud that there's 1,000, 2,000 people watching their sport. We think once people come, we're going to put on a good event, and the game will take care of itself when people come back. So just want to say, again, thank you to University of Toronto. Thank you to people in the Ultimate community who have been unbelievable supporting this venture. You know, and thank you to the Rob and Jim and the players at the back, because it's a really exciting venture, and it's new, and we're ready to go. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Kerry. Up next, as an assistant dean at the Faculty of Kinesiology and Physical Education, Anita Comella is responsible for all co-curricular sports and physical activity. Her role includes serving 3 campuses and the entire St. George campus, comprised of 55,000 students with sport and physical activity across a large continuum of programs. Her current responsibilities include recreational programming, instruction, clubs, and intramurals with over 10,000 participants, 44 intercollegiate sports teams, and high-performance training centers and events. It is my pleasure to introduce, no doubt, the best-looking of the 4 on the panel, Anita Comella. Good morning, Anita.
Good morning. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and first and foremost, welcome to University of Toronto, and Cary, welcome back.
Thank you.
The Faculty of Kinesiology and Physical Education is certainly pleased to partner with the Toronto Rush. We're very excited about this partnership opportunity, and as you've just heard, we have a huge mandate to service sport and physical activity across a huge continuum, from children's first sport experiences right up until training and serious training with our Olympians who are represented here in our training centers. So we're very excited to have the Toronto Rush here with us. Certainly we know that ultimate and other disc sports are becoming extremely popular among our student body, so it'll be great to have this kind of representation, and hopefully our students will get more excited and get more engaged in the sport of ultimate as they spectate. Certainly it's also a great opportunity for our faculty to really promote this across the entire university community. We think we value sport and physical activity so much to the extent that we encourage throughout our program offerings, but now we'll also have an opportunity to create a spectator sport for some of our community through Ultimate. Certainly we wish you the best of luck in your inaugural season. That's very exciting for the athletes and coaches and for the entire franchise, so best of luck. I hope you feel as welcomed in this facility and as inspired towards excellence as all of our sport teams and all of our students that participate here in this facility. So we hope this facility brings you luck, and I would encourage especially the athletes and the coaches in the back to keep up your current season where you have no losses.
Thank you, Anita. Our final speaker has been the general manager of the Toronto Ultimate Club, known as TUC, since 2006. With an emphasis on growth, TUC reached record team and membership totals each consecutive season from 2008 to 2010. In 2012, after several years of discussions, TUC announced a new partnership which led to the Toronto Ultimate Club securing a new state-of-the-art stadium they would call home. He was instrumental in forging the Monarch Park Stadium partnership and continues to welcome new partners to the club, including the Toronto Rush. In this July, as co-tournament director, he will lead a team hosting the World Flying Disc Federation 2013 World Under-23 Ultimate Championships. Please help me in welcoming Jason Robinson.
Thank you, Jason. Didn't expect to be at the big table here with all the big names, so it's a real honor and a privilege. Really excited to see the guys at the back. A lot of those guys have soared 3, 4, 5 feet above my head to grab discs, so it'll be fun to watch them do it to other people and not myself. As mentioned, I'm the general manager of the Toronto Ultimate Club, and on behalf of our membership, we are absolutely delighted to welcome the Toronto Rush to the Ultimate community. More than 33 years ago, the Ultimate community in Toronto was formed. A lot of people don't realize it goes back that far. The game was shared on the beaches. It sort of started in Q Beach and on Toronto Island, where Frisbee players gathered and played all different disciplines of disc sports. The Toronto Ultimate League was formed in the 80s, and by 1995 it became incorporated and known as the Toronto Ultimate Club, the TUC as we know it today. The popularity of the game was spreading to other major markets across Canada, and people of all different walks of life were naturally gravitating to the sport, in part because it's an inclusive sport, because it is an exciting sport, as we've discussed, and it combines the skills and attributes of all different other sports like football, basketball, soccer. And as mentioned, the spirit of the game is this level of respect and sportsmanship that is unique to Ultimate and sets it apart from other sports. And those were sort of the key attributes that were attracting people to Ultimate and still to this day. Today, Ultimate is played by over 10,000 people in the GTA alone, as well as in over 100 schools in our local school boards. The game has become extremely popular with youth and at the university level, where it's growing quite well. Major Ultimate tournaments, locally, nationally, and internationally, are spreading up and catching the attention of the public eye. There are now millions of people who play Ultimate in North America every year, and it's estimated that over 5 million people play the sport of Ultimate globally. The Toronto Ultimate Club, the third largest Ultimate club in North America, is at the forefront of this movement. We offer leagues, events, clinics, youth initiatives, and we promote the game at all levels. We partner with the City of Toronto, our local school boards, private schools, other independent groups. The University of Toronto is a great example, to bring Ultimate to the communities of Toronto. We support high-level teams who participate at national and international championships. And this summer, as mentioned, from July 21st to 28th, our club will play host to the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships. Needless to say, our organization is woven into the fabric of the Ultimate community in Toronto and throughout North America. The Toronto Rush is now part of that fabric and part of our family. We look forward to working with the Rush to bring Ultimate to a wider spectrum of viewers and to engage our local youth through the great game of Ultimate. We want to show Toronto and the world that the sport of Ultimate is one that is exhilarating, dynamic, trend-setting, and open to all. In essence, the sport of Ultimate is the wave of future generations. And with the Rush, we're here to basically show everyone just how cool that ride can be. So the TUC welcomed the Rush to Toronto, and we look forward to an exciting season, an undefeated season. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. The Toronto Rush, yes, all of us in this room, very excited, extremely excited, as it gets set to embark on that inaugural season, as documented throughout the morning. Just 3 days from now, they're going to visit DC Breeze, and after that, it's off to Philadelphia, taking on the Phoenix. But their true beginning in Toronto, just 3 weeks away, as the Rush will host the New Jersey Hammerheads in the home opener. You can catch it May 4th, yes, right here inside Varsity Stadium. The establishment of key business partners and securing one of Toronto's premier facilities will allow the Toronto Rush to provide an extremely entertaining game day experience for fans of all ages. The team will be active in the community with the primary objective of developing the game of Ultimate from the grassroots level, and with the assistance of the local Ultimate clubs, universities, and high schools, expand its participation across Canada. Now, following any questions you may have for our speakers today, I want to remind you that you are more than welcome to join us in a complimentary lunch. But at this time, the floor is now open for the panel to answer any questions, and then afterwards they will be available as well as documented for one-on-ones. Go ahead.
For either Jim or Kerry, who do you see as your sort of stereotypical fan coming here on a Saturday or something?
You want to take a run at that? Or?
Sure. I think it's a good question. I think it's going to start with people that have a connection to Ultimate. I think that it's amazing. Compliment Tuck. A lot of those season ticket holders are people that say, "Wow, this is." There's a team, an Ultimate team that's here. Sorry. The other big thing is, University of Toronto. I don't know the current numbers, but it used to be 50,000. I mean, there's a lot of students at UofT, and Ultimate's been substantially growing. It wasn't nearly as big a sport when, maybe it shows my age, but when I went here, but that's the next group, and we think it's because we're really making an effort to make it extremely affordable to get a larger group, and ultimately families too. But I think I think it's someone that has a little bit of appreciation for the sport and people from UofT.
Yeah, I'll add a few things to that too. When we developed the whole strategy and the business case, we used a little bit of demographics. That sort of 22 to 30 demographic, but we don't base the business on demographics. We think that there's great potential in that age range. That age range has drawn interest of sponsors. That is a very viable age. They're consumers, they're leaders, they buy, they move, and they invest. So I also truly think that location drives a huge opportunity as well. If we were at a park well outside the city, we would not get that just walk up, hey, what's going on at Varsity today? It's a beautiful day. Let's go sit in the stands and watch this new sport. It's very inexpensive, and have a nice cold beer and watch a game, kind of thing. So we also think that there's a potential to do walk up, and we're set up to accommodate fans that are just walking by the area that decide they want to come in and take a look. So I think that's where we're targeting our efforts. Thanks.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
This question's for Anita. You can talk about the Rush and how they've been able to, or have the potential to change the UofT environment. But if you can speak to how the school is changing, that'd be great. You guys are bringing the Argos, I believe, in June for an exhibition game. I believe you guys are organizing or bringing in field hockey for the Pan Am Games. So a lot is going on, but if you could speak to how the school is changing and how you guys are investing in the high sport.
Sure. As Kerry actually alluded to, UofT has a rich and long history with sport, and started with pro sport, and certainly celebrated the 100th Grey Cup, and received a buck here, and had a celebration with the CFL actually this fall. What we are doing is continuing really the breadth of program that we're offering, and being a research-intensive university, and knowing that sports science research can actually translate to actually having an impact on the ground, on the field, in the pool, on the track. We're looking at translating the kind of knowledge that we are generating and creating strong pools and centers where we can transfer that knowledge. So our interest is certainly in affording our students all kinds of opportunities, but as well as the broader community and even internationally, in looking at some key research findings that are actually going to apply to really helping Canadian athletes as a whole in various sports. So our investment in and partnership with the Pan Am Games involves 2 turf fields for field hockey, another highly emerging sport. In fact, Ontario is renewing its leadership in that sport. We had leadership in that sport about 20 years ago, lost it to the West. We're going to, we intend on regaining that leadership in that sport, but also just offering opportunities such as Toronto Rush. We see emerging sports. So not only do we have strong traditions, and our heels are well in ground in strong traditions in sport, we're also looking at responding to our student body and the emerging sports that are out there.
Thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead.
To Jim, please.
Sure.
For Ultiworld. I saw that a tweet that you're supporting the USAU's deal with ESPN, that it's good for the sport. And I'm curious how you guys are positioning yourself with the MLU. Do you think the other league is good for this sport, or do you see them as a competitor?
Sure. Okay, just first on the ESPN. From our perspective, anything that drives video-based interest to this sport is going to help it grow. This sport is perfectly set up for video. It's the kind of thing that people want to watch, and we view it as people coming onto our website or other websites that will actually, we have a website called UofT, which will be the front end for our league for things like weekly highlights, interviews, that type of thing, that people will log on religiously just to see the highlights. So anything that partnership that will drive video is key to the success of the league. MOU, we'll talk about the MOU, which is a different organizational structure completely than what we have now. The MOU is a league-based owned league. We are individually owned teams. The key to that is cooperation between the owners. And we meet weekly. The owners of the AUDL franchises are on weekly conference calls. We debate, we argue, and we come up with what the right thing to do is for the league, because we recognize that the strength of the league is contingent upon the weakest link in the league. So we're all in the business to be successful, but we need everyone to be successful in order to have a league that is successful. So the MOU model is very different than ours. We'll see how it pans out. There's really not a lot of data points that we can compare to it at this point, but from our perspective, as long as we have an ownership group of these franchises that work closely together and not in a vacuum, we'll be fine. And so far, I think we're doing the right thing. Thanks.
Yeah, go ahead. Question for either Kerry or Jim. Kerry joked that no one's getting rich on the salary in the league. Can you talk about the range? And Jim, perhaps for you, for the league.
Jim's got that. Jim's got that.
The handoff. What is the? Is there a salary?
Sure. Okay.
Or anything like that?
Here's how it's going to work. Everyone recognizes this is a startup league. So we have taken, from the league perspective, there's an annual stipend that needs to be paid to the player. And it's a one-time, very small amount annual stipend. We have recruited the players, and we've got strong buy-in from every one of the guys in the room that we need to be able to provide some form of additional income for them. They all have jobs. This is not their primary job. They're either working, or they're in the gym, or they're playing Ultimate. So what we have done is we've structured a program where we're able to provide additional compensation for their participation in ticket sales, merchandise sales, which includes the whole Ulti-Coach line of cards set up by Evan Phillips, who's involved with our organization, as well as participation in camps. So we think that this will be an opportunity for them to pad their pockets a little bit. There's no out-of-pocket expenses for these players whatsoever. So we're covering everything from travel and living costs. They're paid per diem when they're on the road. And we think that they've been doing this for years out of their pocket. And guys, I don't know, what's the number per year that you would be spending? $5,000 to $10,000 of your own hard-earned money to go play Ultimate? So I think right now, we're in a situation where these guys would gladly work towards that. And selling tickets is not overly difficult. They have family and friends that come to watch them anyways. So, and they're set up with individual codes online, and it tracks, and they're paid. So we think there is an income opportunity, and as things grow, we'll probably have to readdress that. So.
Sorry,
Yeah, Kerry.
Just to clarify then, so there's a small stipend that everybody gets, and then basically they get a piece of the action. So merchandise sales, ticket sales, that kind of stuff.
They're individual contributions. So as I mentioned, they're all set up as individuals, and those that decide to take it on can make some money. There's no quotas, there's no mandates, there's no minimums. If they choose not to, that's at their choice. So we want to make clear that this is not a business where we're quoting our players in order to sell tickets and merchandise. That's not what we're doing. So hopefully that clarifies.
Yeah, and I just want to, I think the good news, for the guys at the back, and because I've seen a lot of different leagues, if it's National Lacrosse League or Major League Soccer, Arena Football, they came out of nothing. And attendance and player salaries are directly related. So if the league gets to the point and every team's drawing 2,000-3,000 people a game, guys are going to start getting paid money and start getting paid more money. And that's why I think the smart thing in this league is to integrate those two. Often they're not related. So the players are nothing, but if they are, and the attendance jumps up, then salaries jump up. And I think it's hard when you just started, but there's a real opportunity here for that.
Yeah, I just want to. Just to clarify as well, one thing too, I want to make it very clear to everyone that we recognize that this is going to be a long haul, and we're in it for the long haul. This is not a test bed for a year to see how we do and then jump out. So we've made some financial commitments and some strategic long-term commitments that we're in this for the long haul, and we recognize there'll be some bumps along the way. But you know what? Provided that the effort's there, the experience in the stands is good, and everybody loves a winner, we'll be fine. So I think we'll be okay.
For Kerry or Jim, I actually work with the Toronto Ultimate Club, and I want to know what the Rush is planning to do to get more involved with the community, with youth development, grassroots development, schools, community centers, and stuff like that.
Okay. Why don't I hand that to Jason? Do you want to take a stab at that?
I think I can take a stab at it. Sure.
In terms of our strategic direction of what we're doing together, you know what? Maybe I'll take a run, and we'll see whether it answers the question. And maybe to pass it, Jason. So, what we're planning to do is the season ends on August 3rd and 4th. We want to, and we're in the process now. Once we get out of the chute here, which we're working on right now, is setting up youth camps across the summer, featuring learn from a pro type idea, 2-day camps where we can take students, youths, high school students, and offer them development camps. In addition, we'll also be approaching high school ultimate teams, and we want them to come and play, mini games, showcase games at halftime. So, in the plans, it will happen, but I can't tell you what teams are coming. I don't know what dates yet. So we're focused on that. But you will see these guys, and they all know that they have a vested interest to grow the sport. There's the whole competitive side, but they love the game, and they want to see the game move ahead, and they don't want to see it fizz out. And the way it doesn't fizz out is you get kids to play. You get kids in the stands. You get kids bringing their moms and dads, and you get them excited. They become hero worshipped, which is what all professional athletes love. They love the competition, but they also love to be adored. And we had a players meeting, and I said to the guys, the biggest compliment is when you see a little kid wearing your jersey with your name on the back of it. And that's ultimately where we want to get.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Related to that,
Yeah.
Are you doing anything with UofT 23?
Right now, no. I don't have. We don't have that right now. But you know what? We've got to get in we're in an execution mode right now, and we've got to get into a long-term strategic planning mode. As soon as the execution train starts to lead, then we'll start sitting down and start saying, look, we've got to really extend this, and we may bring in resources that specifically work on that business development piece, and let them run and liaise with the community. So right now, no plan, but could be in the sights.
Be a lot of young kids.
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah, Jason. Sure.
I'll speak to the second question first, and I'll go back to the first one. We realize that the Rush are kind of busy right now, dealing with the start of their season, their inaugural season. They're doing a lot. We have spoken with Cosmos Sports, who represents the Rush, about having a presence at the World Under-23 Championships. That is their intention. But right now, we've hit the pause button, and we're letting them deal with the start of their season. So we expect the Rush to be there. I think they expect to be there. We just got to work out the details, and we'll definitely make something happen there. As for the first question, Jim, I wanted Jim to speak to it myself more than I, because I wanted to come from the Rush, so that there was an understanding of their strategic direction. But we have a partnership in place with the Toronto Rush that we'll be working with them to do a number of clinics, camps, youth engagement activities, where we can get the youth of Toronto and the greater Toronto area involved in the sport of ultimate. For us as a grassroots organization, that's our focus, is we really want to get people of all ages engaged in the sport, and obviously young people. And we'll have a presence at the games, and we're hoping that kids will come to the games, whether they come with their brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever the case may be, and they go, oh my gosh, and just as Jim alluded to, they find their heroes over there in red, and they go, I want to play ultimate. And the Rush isn't able to offer a youth league necessarily at the moment, but they can come to us and they can participate in our summer leagues and get involved. And we find that once kids get their hands on the disc, that they're captured. We got them, right? They fall in love with the sport, and so for us, it's a big opportunity.
You know, and as Jim said, from sort of the Rush's perspective, we can help bring some kids here and watch this game played at the highest level, and that gets them even more excited about it. And yeah, they want to play with us, but it also helps the Rush as well, in so much as they're going to keep coming out and watching their heroes.
Yeah. Question again for Jason on this, T-shirt State Sky magazine. Are you paying for these clinics and other things to the Rush? Is this top paying for them?
Hey, T-shirt, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. We're not paying for the clinics. What we'll do is we'll set up, in a partnership situation, we'll set up a clinic, we'll establish it, we'll publicize it to the general community, and what we'll have is a couple of the guys will come out, and you'll have the pros teaching the kids the sport. We will charge a small fee for people to come out to the clinics, or depending on the age level, we may not charge a fee. It'll be a low fee nonetheless. So we don't want to be charging kids lots of money to come learn the sport. They're going to come in, they're going to pay a low amount. It's really just going to cover the cost of renting whatever field space is required, and then that's how we engage them. Does that accurately answer your question? Okay.
And then question for the guys on the right. You said that this is a startup. Are they getting any sort of stock options for players or anything like that in this individually or?
No, we haven't gone there.
Okay. Do you plan on going there?
You know what? The revenue sharing model, to come up with a revenue profit sharing model, is an extremely difficult one to do. Do you treat every player the same? Do you treat some players differently? We decided that at the league level that the annual stipend is the way to go with this right now. So you know what? We're going to have to see how things go, and we're going to have to see what the growth rate is, what the acceptance rate is, and in all the markets to determine whether or not it's something that would be done. But it would be a league-wide decision, not a Toronto Rush-based decision. So it's something that we would have to follow within the parameters of the league.
Okay. Do you share revenue with the other teams as well, based on games?
There will be some revenue sharing, yes, in order to, as I mentioned before, we need to support every one of the franchises in there. Those will be revenue sharing through things like streaming revenues, advertising revenues, league sponsors as opposed to team sponsors. But yes, there is revenue sharing in place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take one more. Do you have a question? You're okay? Good. Okay. We should make note that Jim, Cary, Anita, Jason, they all will be available for one-on-ones if you guys would like to talk to them. We'll have that out here as well for you. Plus the players, obviously in attendance, you want to talk with the guys. Coaching staff also made available. And we do have the complimentary lunch too. So on behalf of Cosmo Sports and Toronto Rush and TELUS, I'd like to thank each and every one of you once again for coming out this morning, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.